Hi, my name is Njål, #Sastron, and welcome one and welcome all. Let's take a look at what the Norse believed about Thursday, the day dedicated to the revered god of thunder, Thor, with the hammer. And unlike the Marvel rendition of him, he is not portrayed as blonde, but usually portrayed as a red-haired, bearded Viking fellow. Our forefathers revered the day Thursday really much. And some of the hardest part about introducing Christianity was to teach people to hold a Sunday sacred. The old Nord people thought the gods, the gnomes and the dead, came to the living on Thursdays. On this day it shall be peace, holiday peace. Thusly you must not perform anything important, and not start something new. Don't ignite coal mines, no sale, and absolutely no marriage. If you should feel the need to try, a unhappy marriage will occur, and no baptizing of children, and absolutely no grave bear. Thursday children can expect a lot of luck in their lives. They can also see ghosts and remnants, and are free of all evil. And they are capable of healing the ill-injured, but they have to be born before the sun rises. Or the specific that one. Thursday is a regular meat day. Thus, it's dangerous to let the cow out to feed to graze, because predators can catch them. Sure. You must not ride a wagon, no drilling, no knitting yarn, and the grinder must not be started. And if you go fishing, you will probably soon return and will be followed by a string of bad luck. And do not bring in water after sundown. A old wife who did this got a naked holder child in her bucket. Thursday doesn't only carry restrictions and warnings. You can also have benefits. For example, you can safely cut your hair and nails without fear. If you sneeze the Thursday, something joyful will happen, and it will become thunder. Your crops will grow well, and your amount of cow and sheep and goat will increase. Okay. And as soon as night arrives, the living room has to be clean. The light has been lit and food and drink put forth. Everyone has to be silent. No one has to whistle or shout. Only whisper what they want to say. And spinning and Oh yeah, and the yarn spinner tool has to be put on top of a table where you have to stay over the night, or some sinister creature will use it in the middle of the night. It's also dangerous to work on Thursday evening. Women must especially not spin. A wife who sat out to work through the night and spun, was forced to watch the device keep going and going without her input. Even worse was the thing that happened to a girl who had for habit to spin on a Thursday evening. After she died, she returned to her sister and said, as she held out her hand, "This is what you can look forward to each Thursday night, where I spun." The hand she pulled forth was full of blood. Legends tell us of the bindings of Christ when he hung on a cross was spun on a Thursday, and that his cross was made on a Thursday. That's why there's a bad luck about this day. And if a horse or cow would walk over the wood cuttings from the Thursday cutting, they would grow sick and famished. Can you tell where Christianity tried to deter the Vikings from revering Thursday? Can you? I can. Anywho. Close to our time, many has attributed magical ritual to the Thursday. All over Norway, there's hundreds of tales of how a ritual is and what you're supposed to do a Thursday evening or a Thursday night. And if you do this and this 3 Thursdays in a row. Thursday has since old times been especially accessible for magic and the sacred arts. Thusly, Thursday is the day of the witches and witch hags day. It's also when they usually meet. If you want to know who is a witch, it can of course be one of the neighbor wives. For that sake, your own wife. Then you are supposed to do the following. A Thursday morning before the sun rises, you shall raise up. And in the name of the evil, cut the head of a shackled black rooster. Carve out his eyes until there's a hole through the head. Salt it and dry it, and then carry it regularly. When a Thursday with new moon arrives, you shall head over to church, and by midnight walk up to the top tower, where you bring forth the chicken head. And through the hole left from gouging out eyes, you will see all the witches nearby, and you will recognize them. If the prayer against rat and mice should work, it has to be read on a Thursday. If you want a Hulder hat, Then Thursday night is a night you need to go to a place you know the people of the underworld live, and to say, "Let me have your old grandfather hat." But you need to trade it for a black cat. It's also a Thursday evening. You can go to the waterfall grim to learn how to play the fiddle. If you want the black book and at the same time learn to cast spells, you shall whistle 3 Thursday nights on a row on a crossroad in moonlight. Then the devil will come with the book in his hand, with 3 blood drops from your left ring finger. You write your name in the book and says what you want. During this time, old Eric, who, as he was called, will fulfill your wishes. And anyone who has received the book this way can never get rid of it, and they will always belong to him for all eternity. Old Eric will give you a tiny devil who shall be your servant. These servants are small and hairy, and are loyal and incredibly fast. In one step, they can escape from Oslo to København, or far into the North Sea, if it's necessary. They are expert at gaining black money. You know, money under the table. They will help you with buying house, hut, car and boat, and whatever else you need. When you no longer has a need for the little devil, he will turn into a black cat with glowing eyes and keep itself in the black corner behind the bed. If you grow tired, you can only do you can just do the sign of the cross, and he is gone. But when the contract runs out, the devil comes to get you, and left will only be 3 drops of blood. It's not only for the honor of the gods you should hold the whole of Thursday night sacred. Also because that's when the people of the underworld has the most power. They are out looking for brides, and also travel to the hilltop farm. Especially the nights is dangerous for girls working on said farm. Olin was a girl from Lofthus who was a farm girl on a place called Knatten. She got mountain napped, kidnapped, as they call it. And they called after her with ringing of the church bell 3 Thursday nights in a row. And the third night she was outside and was on the way home. But then the bell rope broke. Then the trolls were there, and the troll pack was there, and she had to enter the mountain again. And there she is supposed to be until this day. Thralls often shows themselves on Thursday evening. That's when the white bear collects his bride, and the troll the king's daughter. That's when the mountain man is out, and the swan virgin casts its disguise for a short while and becomes a human. And each Thursday night, a bowl of cream shall be set out on the barn to satisfy the nissen. Thursday you can also get you can get warnings for the future. Night to Thursday you are a true dreamer, and if you dream about the same girl Thursday nights in a row, then it's quite sure that this girl will be your wife. Who are you supposed to marry? This question has more than one boy or girl asked themselves. Since the time of the Vikings, youth has gone through various ritual to find answer. The first Thursday in Thor, can girls know who they shall get? She has to find a crossroad, but nobody has to see and nobody has to know, and she's supposed to turn around 3 times and say, Tore 10, si meg navnet på den jeg skal få. Then the girl has to go home and not to say a word before a man's name is called out. This will be the name of her beloved one. Tore 10, tell me the name of the one I'm to get, of a bride to get. Oh boy, this is a long one. If a girl wants to see who is supposed to be her bride, and get her who is supposed to be her bride and get it revealed, she can take place by a window in a faraway room in the first floor 3 Thursday nights in a row. Eat three kippers and 2 potatoes each of the Thursdays. If she does not like fish and potatoes, she can eat 3 dream monks 3 Thursdays in a row. In her dreams, the bride will show up and offer her something to drink. In folklore, it's often put a lot of value on what the maiden is served in her drink. If it's spiritus, she will be rich. If it's beer, it will be something mediocre, middle of the tree. But if she is ordered water, but if she is served water, well, she will experience poverty. Oh boy. Another trick is to put your socks under your head and sleep on them. The one you dream about is the one you are supposed to marry. Or otherwise, you can just go down to a brook that runs northwards 3 Thursday nights in a row. Yes. And the third night you will see the mirror image of the person in the water. Another way is to throw a ball of yarn through the fjøsligjorden 3 Thursday nights in a row and put it back in and collect it again. Then the maiden will see her potential mate. A girl tried this on the top of the roof 3 Thursdays in a row, but no man showed itself. Nonsense, said the girl, and went into the barn and started the milking. While she sat there, Lars came towards her and laughed. Then he vanished. Since then, she says he used to tell the tale. I could not wait for him. From before he was by the Swedish border and was a soldier. She was married to Lars. Because she was married to Lars, right? Why she died in war or something? I don't know. He died. And there's a lot more cumbersome but funny way approach. You shall wear the same underwear 3 nights and night and day in 3 weeks without removing them. Then you will find a birch log that has to be the size of a human. Into the log you hug it with 3 cuts with an axe 3 Thursdays in a row before Christmas. Christmas Eve, carry the log into your into bedroom, and the underwear you have been wearing for 3 weeks, you dress up the log with, and put it in front of the bed. In your dreams you will see your bride-to-be, and it will offer you a drink. People in old times believed in wise men and hags, because they thought they had magic abilities, and was called for as soon as someone was sick. Treatment of illness was a important question, and often put on Thursdays. As a treatment like this had its own specific ritual and pattern. Thursday, the man would melt church lead and let it run into a bowl of water he put on the sick person's chest. After that, our wise man would take the bowl out and pour some of the mixture onto the door opening. The next Thursday, he would walk to the house not at the north side and pour out a bit more. The last Thursday, he would carry it over to a crossroad where he poured out the rest. At the same time, a coin was sacrificed by the road, and the patient was supposed to be to get well again. If he was to heal hurting the ligaments in the wrist, he took the sick person to a timber log and put the hurting hand on top of it. Then he took the axe and made a cut on each side of the hand or the foot in the rhythm of the words. I cut, I cut, I cut. What do you cut? Asked the sick. I cut the evil and his demons from your ligaments. This is supposed to happen 3 Thursdays in a row, and the pain will leave the body. If you want to treat different other sort of ailments, or to stop blood, lead was collected from a church window a Thursday evening. Apparently, it was the only thing that would help, but not always. A young strapping lad who served hos Kleppen took the chance The house farmer was such a good the wizard, as a troll man, and his lad had run out. Since he was out on the road, the old Eric had almost made him keel over, and then he didn't dare anymore. Ah, right, so he ran out of lead and then the money on the road, and the devil tried to take her. So he had the boy do it. Isn't it not dangerous? Asked the boy. Do as I say, and it shall be fine. 3 Thursdays in a row, you will walk sideways in a circle around the church. At the third night, you will take the lead. You can now leave the churchyard. You will see a lot of ugly stuff you have never seen before, and it will be almost impossible to reach this location. But do not be afraid. Only go straight forward. Do not look to the side. And do not look behind, because then you are sold. And whatever you do not look back. If you dare, you will get a 2 space dollar currency. The boy did exactly as told. But when he was about to leave, the cemetery was crawling with evil. Worms, snakes crawled upon, slitted up his legs. And wanted to bite. Foul animals with fire-breathing jaws and glowing eyes came forth. And the remnants ran after him like they wouldn't knock him down. But the boy just went straight ahead, and the devil pack vanished. When he heard, then he heard the hooves of horses and wagons, and the sound of wagons behind him, rapidly approaching. He wanted to turn, but he remembered what Clappen had told him, and continued like he was deaf to the sounds of the world. When he left the cemetery and got home, he got the 2 well-earned dollar. If a child has weakness, the English sickness, it can get cured with the help of a sacred hag. 3 Thursdays in a row, you're supposed to swing grass. It's supposed to be. What is it called again? Oh, it's a cube of grass you collect from the swamp, from the marsh, and you're supposed to swing it above the child 3 times. The old hag will also cure gold soot by giving the sick one yellow moss, who is scraped from the north wall on an old house, where neither sun nor moon will touch. A Thursday night. If you bathe 3 Thursdays in a row in water that pours out of a mountain in moonlight, you will never have warts. Against birthmarks is warmed cut blood a good panacea. Granted, you take it in 3 Thursdays on a row. Toothache you can get rid if Tuesday evening in moonlight. cut a piece of a arrow tree and poke yourself in the tooth with it. And you will be relieved of the pain. If the horse has a nightmare, you're supposed to shoot a crow on the first day and hang it above the barn. Then the horse will not have nightmares anymore. Does horses have nightmares? And I suppose they do, they are alive and all. If you have a lot, then you shall build. You can get problem with the tussene, who from old times, as their the dwellings on the lot. To get on a good hand with the small folks, you put out an axe on said lot. If it's untouched for 3 Thursdays in a row, you can safely build there. But if it's moved, you have to build where the axe is moved. På Klever farm lived a rich man. He had 2 sons, Per and Paul. They were supposed to inherit the farm. But then the bad luck struck a Thursday night, because Orkard's Reia, often called Reia, took with her his favorite boy, Per. When a week had passed, Reia came back, and on the back sat the Per on a poor horse. He swung the horse a bit to the side and told his brother that they will come over here over the yard 3 Thursdays in a row, and that Paul had to warn him of the Reia. Next Thursday the night, Reia came back again, and his brother insisted still was on the horse. But Paul did not do any attempt to grant him salvation. So he had to ride disappointed away from the place. The next Thursday, the Reia came again. It's essentially a demon horse. It kidnaps people, apparently. He rode over to his brother, who stood on the door, stood by the door with his arms in a cross, without helping. When he saw this, when Per saw this, he clenched his fist and cast a curse on his brother. Rich on money you and yours shall be, but poor on the money and sensibility and common sense. Then he was gone. That was the last time he was ever seen. Paul took his heritage, and rich people has always been unclever. But almost all their weddings ends in a divorce or in a deep sadness. And a little bit weird have they always been. If somebody wants to know if someone is dead, you have to salig. Right, so you need to go to the grave 3 Thursdays in a row. The third Thursday in a row, The dad will appear and tell where he has arrived. A man from Voss did this when his father was dead. He had neither seen or heard, and no witnesses. But the man was not the same anymore. A 6-year-old boy on two farm was called Arne. Vanished. A lot of people wanted to search for him. Many days a search, but the boy was gone. A old seeker hag came to the farm and said to John, the boy's father, "If you want to know where your boy is, go to the cemetery, go to the church, into the basement 3 Thursdays in a row, and ask the dead. Then you will get the answer the third night in a row." The dad lay there, stiff and cold, and he got no answer. Disappointed, he went home. But by midnight he woke up by a sharp light in the living room. A white-clad woman came towards his bed and was holding the hand of Arne. He was well kept and was happy. John rose from the bed and reached out to touch the boy. But then they both disappeared, and the living room was left in the dark. If you 3 times Thursdays in a row go to the corpse, you can see the thief, if you have been robbed. You can call upon a troll hag by burning 9 types of wood on a crossroad 3 Thursdays in a row. But there has to... No, not a corpse, a ritual. There must not have been... a ritual like this must not have been done by the road, on any of the roads that meets there. So, using a lot of old words I don't even know, that's not even in common use anymore. There was a man called Gunnar, who was in great debt after a game of poker, and nobody wanted to borrow him money. He was so strapped, he was so in need of money, he could even ask old Eric. He then got the brilliant idea to head for a crossroad 3 Thursdays in a row. The last night he should wait, and he did. And would you know it, a old grey-dressed man came to Gunnar and asked, "I heard you wanted to borrow money from me." But then Gunnar got so afraid he took to chant Padre Nostra, and gone was old Eric. It was probably better to learn from Fortunatus. He had a pouch that would never run out, no matter how much he had to pay out. But if you wish for such a pouch, well, the other day I found a recipe. In an old witchcraft book. You are perhaps interested, yes? You want to acquire such a device. It's fairly simple. You take the life of a black cat, and makes a pouch out of the cat skin. After that, you take 3 silver crowns that you put in a piece of paper, and a Thursday night by the strike of midnight, you will go to the cemetery and put the coins under a grave on the left side. Next Thursday midnight, you have to go there and flip the coins, and at the third Thursday night at the same time, collect the coins and put them in the pouch. The pouch has to be kept in a clean pocket where nothing else is. Can I now congratulate you with a pouch that will never run out? Yeah, this is probably the longest chapter by far. I have a book and I intend to go through it eventually, in both Norwegian and English. I'm your host Njål, #Sasram, signing out.